Presented in this video are two Allied intelligence reports written in August 1944. One on the Mistel, an unmanned parasitic flying bomb based off the JU-88 design, and the ME-163, a rocket-propelled fighter. Both these weapon systems had only recently come into use in the Luftwaffe, and thus Allied commanders were keen to discover the capabilities of these new weapon systems so that counter-tactics could be devised. The information present in these reports are based on prisoner of war interrogations, testimony from Allied aircrew, and other sources. Some 80 years after the war, with information on the actual capabilities of the Mistel and ME-163 easily accessible on the internet, these reports provide a fascinating insight into just how successful Allied intelligence was in determining the capabilities of these new German weapon systems, at a time when they had no captured examples on hand to examine. German composite aircraft. A JU-88, the lower component of a composite aircraft, crashed at Flayed Bottom Farm, Andover, Hants, at 23:35 hours on 10th of August, 1944. There was a tremendous explosion, but no damage occurred owing to the open nature of the country. The aircraft was smashed into small fragments, but a preliminary examination has established the following. 1. The JU-88 had UMO 211 engines. 2. An Ascania 3-axis electronic autopilot was installed. 3. Fragments of very thick AP steel were among the wreckage. 4. 4 concrete bombs of 50 kilograms size were carried. It is reasonable to suppose that these were used as ballast. 5. There was virtually no crater at the point of impact, but the blast was exceptional. A man 3 miles away was blown over. The composite aircraft was described in AI2G, report number 2247, but the following is a brief description, with the addition of certain new details. The aircraft flies as a 3-engined biplane under the sole control of the pilot of the ME-109. There is no crew in the JU-88, which serves as a flying bomb for use against capital ships and fortified land targets. A prisoner of war has stated that the pilot of the ME-109 can start up all 3 engines, retract the undercarriage of, and draw fuel from the JU-88 while in flight. The undercarriage of the ME-109 is probably extended while the 2 components are joined. A special nose section, containing probably 4,000 pounds of explosives and weighing up to 8,000 pounds, replaces the normal nose of the JU-88. About 1 mile from the target, the JU-88 is released and continues under power in a shallow dive, controlled by the 3-axis autopilot. ME-163 rocket-propelled fighter. On August 16, 1944, formations of the U.S. Army Air Force B-17 bombers and their escorting fighters encountered several ME-163s over Germany. Reports of the engagement by U.S. pilots and aircrews have yielded some valuable information regarding the tactics of the enemy aircraft, tending to confirm previous AI2G observations on the subject. The main points are summarized below, and are followed by an up-to-date technical description of the ME-163. Climb. The ME-163s were first seen climbing almost vertically at unusual speed. One was estimated to be climbing at an angle of 50 degrees at 5,000 feet per minute and about 250 miles per hour. A long white contrail was seen, first visible at 27,000 feet, but disappearing at 32,000 feet when the pilot of the enemy aircraft apparently shut off the propulsion unit in preparation for an attack. On one occasion after an attack, the enemy aircraft used 2 short bursts of power to climb away. Tactics. Only a single attack was reported. One approach was from 2,000 feet above the formation of B-17s at 12 o'clock. The enemy aircraft passed beneath the formation and broke off at 5 o'clock, climbing under power. Another attack was reported from 1,500 feet above. The enemy aircraft glided in a slow turn towards the tail. All but 1 B-17 crew stated that attacks were started from above, and that the enemy aircraft glided to attack, either from ahead or astern, the exception being 1 level attack from 9 o'clock. The tail gunner of a B-17 which took evasive action by skidding stated that the enemy aircraft also skidded, but that the pilot was unable to train his guns. Speed. The gunners of the bomber formation stated that the enemy aircraft were so fast that it was impossible to track them with their turrets or free guns. Speed was in excess of that of an escort fighter diving at 400 indicated airspeed, at 25,000 feet. Although at one time the speed of the enemy aircraft, while flying straight and level, was estimated to be as low as 150 miles per hour. In one instance, an ME-163 flew alongside the bomber formation at the same speed. One fighter pilot stated that he turned inside an ME-163 with ease. Appearance. The recognition characteristics of the ME-163 corresponds very closely with AI-2G drawings. The predominant impression was of a flying wing. The color of the enemy aircraft was variously reported as being light blue, unpolished black, or dark brown. Crosses were painted on the top surfaces of the wing. Armament. Bomber crews reported that 20mm explosive ammunition was fired from guns either in or close to the nose. Vulnerability. Strikes on the port side of the rear fuselage of one ME-163 caused an explosion which blew off the side of the rear fuselage, while multiple strikes on the top of the cockpit enclosures were considered to have killed the pilot of a second enemy aircraft. Shots fired from 300 to 400 yards struck the starboard wing of a third but produced no apparent effect. The ME-163 dived away under power. Technical description. The appearance on operations of the ME-163 liquid rocket aircraft has prompted the issue of the following review, consolidating all information. The data given are not final, but are the latest and most reliable available. Type. Liquid rocket propelled single-seat interceptor fighter. Two versions, ME-163A, trainer, and ME-163B, operational. Construction. Mixed wood and metal construction. Fuselage. Length 23 feet, stubby but streamlined appearance. Small propeller at the front, ME-163B only, probably drives generator. Fuselage contains rocket propulsion and main fuel tanks. Fuel capacity of ME-163B stated to be 330 gallons. Prisoner of war states that jettisonable cockpit cover does not break top line of fuselage and is screwed down after the pilot is seated. Cockpit not pressurized at present. Wings. Span ME-163A 27 feet approximately. ME-163B 30 to 31 feet. Root chord 9 feet approximately. Pronounced sweepback. Constant taper. Auxiliary tanks in wing feed main tanks. Leading edge slots may be fitted. Tail unit. Prominent single fin and rudder, straight leading and trailing edges, rounded top. No horizontal tail surfaces. Undercarriage. Two small wheels, jettisoned after takeoff. Skid for landing, probably incorporates a method of braking. Propulsion unit. Liquid rocket unit designed by Walter of Kiel. Two types, cold unit for ME-163A, hot unit for ME-163B. The term cold unit may imply a unit utilizing a hydrogen peroxide fuel, operating at a comparatively low temperature. Prisoner of war states that this unit emits a dirty white smoke. Two fuels, known as T-Stoff, propellant, and Z-Stoff, igniter, are probably used in the ME-163A. The names are similar to those used for HS-293 fuels, and it is thought that the substances are the same, i.e. hydrogen peroxide and potassium permanganate. The hot unit may use a different igniter in place of Z-Stoff, and it is believed to develop a greater thrust. This unit is stated to emit a blue-tinged yellow flame. Reported consumption is about 47 gallons per minute. A gas-driven turbine is incorporated in both types of unit, probably driving fuel pumps. Performance. Endurance of rocket unit at full power, 7 to 10 minutes. Time in air can be increased to about 40 minutes by intermittent periods of gliding. Takeoff. Normally under own power, but rocket-assisted takeoff may be used. Takeoff run, unassisted, at least 600 yards, ME-163A. ME-163B takes 1,200 yards, prisoner of war information. Messerschmidt 1110 used as tug during training period. Climb. Rate of climb exceptionally high. Estimates 5,000 feet per minute at sea level, 10,000 feet per minute at 40,000 feet. Speed. 325 to 600 miles per hour using propulsion at max power. Maneuverability. Prisoner of war states that maneuverability is seriously impaired when power is on. Recent combat reports tend to confirm that the radius of turn, power on, is large, even when aircraft is steeply banked. As a glider, particularly when the fuel is exhausted, aircraft should be very maneuverable. Landing. A prepared airfield is unnecessary for landing. Armament. Armament of the 163B is probably at least 2 MG-151/20 20mm or Mark 108 30mm guns mounted in wing roots.